Hey everyone, welcome to the Fireside Chat number 33 on Crushing Classical, redefining a thriving classical music career. I'm Tracy Friedlander, and today we are talking about challenges. We recently completed a 30-day challenge, and we are launching another 7-day starting line challenge. We share what we got out of our most recent 30-day challenge, including a conversation about purpose, which is a topic we've only recently discussed here at Crushing Classical. Today we go into the meaning of the word and how Eileen and I discovered our own through challenges. Really, it was a culmination of all the challenges we've been doing. Before we start, a couple of quick things. Please join the conversation at facebook.com/crushingclassical, as well as Crushing Classical on Instagram. If you love what you see, it would mean so much to us if you would comment on posts and share them with your classical musician friends and colleagues. And if you haven't done it yet, join our Facebook group, Classical Cats. We continue the conversation inside the group on topics we discuss on Firesides and all of our episodes. You can join us at facebook.com/groups/crushingclassical. Let's get started. Hey, Eileen, how are you?
Hey, good. How are you?
Great. So today on the Fireside Chat, we are going to cover several topics, and I'm going to tell you what they are right now. So we have another 7-day challenge coming out or starting on November 6th. So this is our second 7-day challenge.
Mm-hmm.
And I just have to say that the first 7-day challenge blew my butt out of the water. Like I did it. I did it alongside, even though, okay, so we were in the middle of a 100-day challenge. And hold on.
Yeah. Well, we were at the tail end of it.
Yeah. We were in the tail end of a 100-day challenge and took on the 7-day thinking, this will be a piece of cake because it's just 7 more days or whatever.
It was our last week of the 100-day challenge. And we were, as I put it, wiffle balling our way through the last week.
Yeah, we were totally doing that. And so the 7-day challenge gave us a little turbo boost for, to get back in the game essentially. Mm-hmm. And let me just say that
it was a tough week.
It was tough. I was exhausted by the end of every day. And the funny thing is that there wasn't so much to do for the 7-day challenge. Like we had like a 35 to 45 minute Facebook Live in the morning every day.
Yep,
and then you had a simple assignment and that was it. And the assignment didn't take long either. Like you could do the assignment in like 5 minutes. But what it does is it takes you, it sets the stage for your day and you start to think differently about things. And so you operate your entire day on a different playing field. And so that's what I experienced during that 7-day challenge. And I became uber productive that week.
Mm-hmm. Yep. That's it.
Right.
So here's the thing you want to know about the 7-day. If you haven't done the 7-day, it's called the 7-day starting line challenge. Starting line, because a lot of people are at the starting line of looking at what a unique career would be for them. You're not even ready to dive into a unique career. You haven't even decided what it's going to be. Or if you have, there's stuff in the way of that you could start it. That's usually the case for most people. Right. And so what the 7-day challenge does is shows you, it actually shows you why you're not actually pursuing what you want to be pursuing. You get very, very clear why. If there's something you want, a lot of people have a plan A that they're not, and I know you posted about this recently. A lot of people have a plan A that they're not pursuing, and they have all kinds of reasons why they're not pursuing it. And in the 7-day, by the end of it, you actually discover why you're not pursuing plan A. That's what I'm going to tell you. I wouldn't have told you before that that's what the outcome is of the 7-day, but I'm going to tell you now that's what it is. I mean, after having led it for, 7 days before, this will be the second time we've done it. That's what everybody got out of it. Every single person got out of it. Wow, I really see now why I have not been pursuing XYZ.
Yeah. And you know what? A side effect of the 7-day challenge I saw was just like a really cool feeling of community during it.
Yes.
That's what
you are not
my
alone.
Favorite thing.
Yeah. You discover that you are actually not alone.
Right. Which is incredible for a classical musician who spends all of their time in a practice room. You spend all your time in a practice room
or whatever.
Or sitting in your car driving to a gig. Of course, once you get there, you're with the orchestra, but it's kind of a solo act
Mm-hmm.
figuring out the career. And so,
Yep.
the community aspect of it was awesome. Like
Yep.
I was really actually moved. I cried several times. Well,
That
I'm a
was that
crybaby.
was actually the most the best feedback we got on the 7 day was, besides people seeing what was in the way for them, also was the community that they didn't feel alone anymore. They didn't, all this time they've been trying to hide what they struggle with. And then they got to see everybody else's struggles and go, wow, I'm not the only one,
Hmm.
you know? So
Yeah,
that was, oh, I'm sorry,
I'm
go ahead.
really looking forward to this next one.
Yeah, I'm too. It's going to be great. And here's another thing too. If you're considering doing the 7 day challenge, look at our reviews on the Facebook page. A lot of people several people who were in the 7 day actually wrote reviews about it,
Yeah,
about
good
doing it.
idea.
Go look at those reviews and see what it was like. We actually asked people if they got a lot out of it to please write a review, and several people did. And, actually, of course, it's always nice to get reviews. It's nice to get as many reviews as possible, but, not everybody does that. But reviews are a good way for you to determine whether or not it's for you,
Yeah.
you know? So, yeah. So that starts on November 6th. We're launching it today because, we want to give you some time to sort through your life. Because one thing I'll say about the 7 day is, we do want you to join us live if you can. We do it at, what time is it? 7 a.m. Pacific, 8 a.m. Mountain, 9 a.m.
Central,
Central, 10
10 a.m.
a.m. Eastern.
Eastern. Hmm.
So we do it every morning. It's 7 days. It's in the morning. So I'll just say 10 a.m. Eastern is when we do it. It's for about an hour. It's a Facebook Live, and it's way better if you join us in person. So it would be great if you decide to do the 7 day challenge to arrange your life. That's why we're announcing it 2 weeks ahead. So you can actually arrange life to be able to be there live. It's only 7 days. You can do anything for 7 days. You can make anything work for 7 days.
Yeah,
So, I encourage you strongly, if you're going to do the 7 day starting line challenge, that you actually do clear your hour between, 10 a.m. and 11 a.m. Eastern, starting on November 6th for 7 days straight. And because it really does make a difference to be there live.
absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, because it's real time. You're commenting on
Mm-hmm.
stuff and you can ask questions real time.
Yep. And we're
If
trying to
Eileen,
respond. Yeah, we try and
yeah,
respond. Yep. Mm-hmm.
yeah,
I
if
see the
Eileen says something,
comments.
yeah,
Yep.
it's great because if she says something, if Eileen says something that you don't get right away, you can just type your comment and write away your question and get it answered.
Yep.
So,
Totally.
yeah.
Totally. So yeah. So, that's going to be on November 6th. It's really cool to be able to do it again. A lot of people have asked us about it. When are you going to do it again? When are you going to do it again? And, it's coming up. So perfect timing.
Yeah. And so one of the things that I got from doing 7 day, and because we were doing the 100 day and then we did the 7 day, and then when that was all over, it was sort of
Mm-hmm.
like, now what? And
Mm-hmm.
so both of us, Eileen and I, were like, we need to do another challenge. I mean, and I sort of feel
Mm-hmm.
like I always want to do a challenge of some kind because
Yep.
it keeps the fire lit under me. And
Mm-hmm.
so we decided to do a shorter challenge after that and stick to a 30 day for the next one. And
Mm-hmm.
so we just completed our last 30 day challenge
Yep. This week.
Tuesday. Yeah.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
Tuesday was the last day. And so this was an interesting challenge. It was way more intense at the beginning. I think because it was shorter and because we upped the ante a little bit. We leveled it up from
Yeah.
our 100 day.
We did. We definitely
Yeah.
upped the ante. Yeah. And it was actually really challenging, to do this 30 day. I mean, about halfway through, I was like, boy, I'm glad this is going to be over in 15 days,
Mhm.
I don't know if you felt that way, but I sure did.
Yeah. Well, like around day 8, which is usually when we have problems.
Yeah.
I think you and I got in a little argument.
Yeah. Was it day 8 or was it day 12 is usually where
Maybe it
we
was
get.
day 12. Yeah, I don't remember. I didn't remember what day it was, but you and I were on each other's nerves.
Yeah. Which doesn't actually happen very often,
No, it
you
never
know?
does. But we were both on really like on high
Yep.
alert edge.
Yep.
Um,
We're on high edge for sure.
and we worked through it, which was good because I don't like us to be
Yeah,
not
I don't like strife.
copacetic. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't like strife at all. I know.
No,
And
so
actually, I think about that too because there was a lot of strife in my home when I was growing up. And so now I'm like, can we just not have strife, please?
yeah,
You know,
I know. I know.
really,
And I
you know?
think looking back on that day, like I think what was happening was is that I was and I'm learning a lot about this, but I was in a place of I said I would do this stuff and I don't want to do it, any of it. Like any
Oh,
of
is
it.
that right?
Yeah,
Interesting.
like there was
Okay.
just this burning I don't want to do it thing. It was like my
Mm,
body was reacting to what I said I wanted to do because it was hard, you know?
yeah.
So I
Yep.
said that I would sweat every day and
Right.
I said that I would take my social media up a notch to the next level and do my Instagram stories and post on Crushing Classical or my profile every day. And so like you know, up until that point, we were doing less posts, and
Mm-hmm.
I barely ever post on my profile and Instagram stories. I would do them for a little while and then just fall to the wayside and not do them. Just wasn't on my radar to remember to do them. And I know that the reason that's important is because people following my pages and me essentially will watch it, and then
Mm-hmm.
that'll find
They
other
will.
people, and then other people will find it. And so what I discovered that over the course of the 30 days my Instagram following did go up by
Yeah, I
like
was going to ask you what you saw the results were from doing that work.
so the Instagram, let's see, um I have to find out, I have to find that paper. I saved my Instagram number. I think I went up like maybe 40 followers
Okay.
in the time. You know, I'd have to. I should have looked that up before we started recording, but yeah, and definitely, I think probably. I mean, I know our Facebook following went up over this last
Mm-hmm.
time, and it's been more.
Yeah, it
It's
did.
what's interesting is it's been really steadily climbing
Yeah, steadily. Yep.
because of the
Every week.
consistency. And
Yep.
so at first I was like, I was hating. Um, at first I wasn't hating the exercise, but it was like a thing I had to do.
Mm-hmm.
And then it just sort of still eventually I got to the point where it was just a thing I did. So
Yep.
it wasn't so bad. And then later in the month I realized, oh, I can just choose if I make this a thing I have to do or a thing I want to do. It's just a way I think about it.
Yeah.
And the same with the social media. It's either something I have to do or something I actually want to do. And I can make it work for me.
You
And
can.
And sharing my life doesn't mean sharing every single thing of my life, but just sharing a selection of my life that's relevant. And it could be this or it could be that. It doesn't have to be the same thing every day. And as I did it, I learned, I learned what made it.
Mm-hmm.
And it's funny because at the end of the day, I would watch my stories and I would kind of get a chuckle out of it. Like, some of the things I said or whatever.
Yeah, I mean, there were some funny moments in your stories for sure. And of course, now we're getting to see the Airbnb get built, which is good.
Yeah. So I'll keep doing that. I'm not going to stop doing it because now it's just something I think of. Like when I do something, I go, oh, this could be part of my story for the day, you
Right.
know?
Yeah, totally. Yep.
So
So like on a scale of, let's just say 1 to 10, where do you think you landed at 30 days as far as like 10, I was amazing, the best I could have been, or 1, I sucked,
yeah.
I didn't meet my intention at all, or 10 is I totally met my intention. Where would you
Okay.
put yourself?
I think I would put myself somewhere close to like an 8 because at the end, maybe a 7 or an 8 because my feeling at the end of it was I really want to level up everything I just did.
Okay.
Like I feel like there's room to level things up, you know?
Yeah. Good.
I could do
Good. And
more.
so your next 30 days is going to be you figuring out, okay, well, what leveling up look like then? Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
That's
I
great.
have to. I want to figure out what leveling up will look like for social media.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and then there's just other life things because, as you guys know from listening to like all these firesides where I was taking on organization in a new way and scheduling in a new way. I'm living
Mm-hmm.
that now. And it's
Tracy has a schedule.
yeah.
Tracy has a schedule. Somebody mark it on the calendar. Tracy lives by a schedule.
I live by a schedule, but there's things that I could do better. Like, first of all, I still have thousands of, well, maybe not thousands, but I usually have like a dozen tabs open on my browser still.
Oh, you're still doing that?
Yeah. Because I see things, I'm like, I want to do that and I want to come back to that and I want to, like, I don't imagine what it would be like to have like maybe two or three tabs
Yeah,
because
but remember, okay, but you remember the strategy for that? Remember what you're supposed to do with that tab?
yeah, put it in a read file.
Yeah, and then schedule the read time.
Yeah, which I haven't done.
Okay, so maybe that's why you're leaving the tabs open.
Yeah, because that one of the things so the other day I Googled what can you do for a 30-day challenge? I don't know. I just wanted to see what some other internet ideas were because I have lots of ideas of things I could do, but I wanted to kind of read some and see if
Yeah,
that would give me
I got that
ideas.
article. Yeah, I got that article
Yeah.
you sent me. Yeah.
And one of the things was schedule downtime, schedule white space was the
I
thing.
do. I do. Yep.
And I don't. Like I don't. And
I
so
do. Yep.
I need to do that. And I need to schedule reading time and I need to schedule just white space. Like you said, like time to sit down and stare
Yep.
off into space for a minute.
Yep.
So,
Yep. I definitely schedule that time because if I don't, I probably won't do it.
and I want to get better at actually look when my calendar notifies me to switch to a different task,
Hmm.
actually do that. I don't always do it.
So you don't always switch when it tells you to switch.
Right.
Okay.
So I
Yeah,
think
you
that
know
might
what?
be,
The hardest part, I'll tell you what the hardest part about keeping a schedule is actually keeping what you said you would do.
yeah. I mean,
That's
because
the
there's
hardest
certain
part
things
about it.
like if you have to be somewhere, that's easy to do because you've agreed with someone else that you're going to be somewhere, like an appointment or
That's
whatever.
right.
But
Hmm.
if it says, okay, time for writing is over, now you have to read, it's really easy for me to go, well, I'll just read later. I want to keep writing,
Hmm.
you know?
Yep. Yep.
So maybe that'll be my next 30-day. Like really stick to what it says and do it.
Yep. Yep. I get that.
Yeah. So what about you, Eileen?
Um, so, I did pretty well, as far as dietary goes, I did a lot of health things this time around. And that went pretty well. Um, I kept on what I wanted to do and I actually gave up, the biggest thing that I did was I gave up caffeine.
Oh, that's hard.
And yeah, that was challenging. You know what it was though? I gave up coffee and I really like coffee a lot. Not even just, I even like decaf. There was a time when I drank decaf exclusively,
Huh.
for several years. And so my problem is not so much I discovered the problem wasn't so much the caffeine as it was the coffee. And
Because you just
so
like coffee.
I just really like coffee is what
Huh.
it is. I really like coffee a lot. And so, mm, so now I'm drinking, herbal tea and the one thing I'll say about it that was a surprising thing is I drink herbal tea all day long and I'm getting so much more water now because when I used to drink coffee, I just would drink coffee and then, maybe I would have water during the day, but I wasn't really conscious very much of drinking, just staying hydrated. And
Yeah.
now I have this very large mug that I use for tea. And I probably drink, I don't know, 8 or 9 of those a day.
Wow.
Yeah. It's a lot. And so what I notice is my energy level's better. I'm sleeping better. Honestly, it's been a really good change. So that was a surprise that came out of it for me. Um, the one thing that I really failed at was I had I had an intention to put out some offers this month or this last 30 days for Crushing Classical. And, I had a lot of challenges with getting setup done and like back end setup of that, like on, websites.
Hmm.
And, so I failed that. That just did not happen. So, that's what I'm really doubling down on for the next 30 days is that, because I know that our subscribers, there's certain things that they want that they've asked for. And so we want to provide those things. And so that's what I'm really doubling down on is that. So that was a real disappointment for me for the 30 days. And really, like, ultimately the 30 days felt like a failure because I didn't win that game. And yeah, I mean, really, I was like, I'm a loser. I went all the places that everybody goes when they utterly fail. And, so that was really tough. And at the same time, it was a really good lesson, and I can see, some of the mistakes. Actually, I did a debrief with somebody about it. Somebody I know from my past about it because they're not involved. It was really good to do that with somebody. It's basically a debrief is, you get on a call and you talk through what worked, what didn't work, that sort of thing. And it was good to do it with somebody who's not involved at all because they have a totally objective view.
Right.
And so that was great. That was just so I could complete on it. I didn't want to walk into the next 30 days, carrying that failure. That's why a debrief is. You don't want to carry the failure into the next, game you play. Once a game is over, you're going to declare a new game. But if you haven't completed on the game you did previously, like if you failed, for example, if you won the game, fantastic, but if you didn't win the game, you're going to carry that failure to the next game unless you get complete on it. And so that's what I did actually this week.
Nice.
Mm-hmm. So, those were the two big things. I can't remember if there was anything else. Those were the two big things that I got out of it. And I'm still experimenting with eating at this point.
Right. Because you didn't keep with keto, like a really strong.
No, I didn't. Although I did, it was definitely I'll call it a low carb, diet, but it was just a little bit looser and still, whole foods and everything. That was fine. But, I wanted to see what it would be like to add a few carbs back in. And that was nice. I mean, I enjoyed doing that. And now, of course, you and I are about to, explore something super, I think you're doing it too, something really super healthy, like green smoothies and things like that, which I haven't done in a long time. I know you already started doing that, but I really haven't done it. That's actually for my next 30 day.
Yeah. Well, I was thinking about doing some crazy ass stuff in my next 30 day, like stuff that I used to do intermittently. Yeah. Because I used to do some crazy stuff.
Yeah, well, because I'm a little fascinated because I know you're cray on the natural stuff. Like yeah, like Tracy's like slightly, just north of psycho about, I mean, really, like the stuff that she's willing to try is great. I mean, it's great, but it's crazy.
And I remember one time, you should hear, one time.
I'm always slightly in awe of the stuff.
Yeah, like one time some friends came over and one of them was feeling like, it was like after a concert. My two horn playing friends would always come over after concerts. Like this is before kid. They would come over almost every time. We would watch Mad TV or Saturday Night Live and drink drinks and make bean dip. But he wasn't feeling like he wanted. Yeah, I make really good bean dip.
Yum.
It's vegetarian days.
Okay, and, vegetarian days. Okay.
Yeah, but I'd still eat it. It's really, really good. I'll tell you the recipe sometime. And he was like, I don't think I want to have a beer because I'm starting to get that feeling in my throat like I might be getting sick. And I'm like, oh, I have just the thing for you. And I took out my juicer and I juiced.
Did you really?
Yeah, that's what I did. I juiced a lemon and a couple of cloves of garlic through the juicer.
Wow.
So it's like garlicky lemon juice. And then I added like some cayenne pepper and a couple drops of oregano oil. And I told him to do it. Holy crap. Yeah. And I
shot?
said,
did you want to do a shot?
It was a shot.
Oh God.
Yeah, it burned his head off. Yeah.
That's a tough shot. Did it work?
Yeah.
Wow. And he did it. Did he do the whole shot?
He did it.
That's a tough shot.
He did the whole shot and he was like coughing and everything.
Yeah. I mean, that's a tough shot for real. That's awesome. I mean, and seriously, wouldn't it be cool though? If, people on Friday nights, I mean, I'm just making it because Tracy and I are a little bit, we love natural health and we love whole foods and that sort of thing. Like that's our deal.
Yeah.
And, wouldn't it be cool if on Friday nights, you got together with your friends and you did crazy stuff like that instead of say, downing 3 bottles of wine, or you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, right?
Wouldn't it be cool if we all got together on Friday and Saturday nights, or like Saturday night, let's just say, just one night a week, and it was like each person had to bring like a thing for everybody to try that was some concoction.
I know. And if it was healthy.
Yeah, and it was healthy. That's my whole thing.
Yeah, instead of
And
bringing
so
a 6-pack of beer.
yeah, and everybody gets, a bunch of nutrition slammed into them on Saturday night, right? That would be so cool, wouldn't it?
I know, right? That could be a
That would be
challenge,
amazing.
actually. That
It
could be
could be.
added
That
into
would be
somebody's
amazing.
challenge.
Totally.
Yeah.
I think that'd be amazing. And you know what made me think of that actually just now is, a friend of mine used to do this thing called art night. And it was basically you could, if you wanted to do an art project, or if you wanted it, like that's something we don't really do anymore as adults, is like art projects. And so, we used to, as kids, like your daughter is doing all kinds of art, I'm sure,
All
at school.
kinds. I know.
Right. And I remember doing tons of art when I was a kid. Art was a big part of my youth, I remember.
Yeah.
And so I thought of it because of that, because my friend, she used to do art night once a month, and she used to have everybody over, and she would rent tables. She rented tables, and she put them in her house. She had a very big living room area, and she moved the furniture, and she put the tables in, she put chairs in, and everybody would come with their art project and sit down and work on it for the whole night. And everybody would bring a dish to pass. It was really cool. And so it was food and it was art, and people would be like, "Oh, you could do this with it and you could do that with it." Like, you would get other people's feedback on your art project, and maybe you would finish it that night and maybe you wouldn't. And then you would just take everything with you. And then 30 days later, you would do it again. She did it once a month.
I love that.
Isn't that cool? I thought it was such a cool idea. And she usually had a lot of participants. Like, we're talking, I think she built it up to 25 or 30 people that would
And
come.
you know what's cool about that is that there's businesses like that where you can go and do it. But what if you just do it yourself? You don't need to have it. You don't need to pay for it. Yeah.
And it's only once a month, so it's not overwhelming.
Yeah.
It's just once a month. It's just one night. And I think she started at, 6:00 in the evening, and it went until 10:00 at night. It was like 4 hours of art.
That's cool.
But anyway, I think that would be cool for the natural food thing. Like, there's everybody like dumps a bunch of nutrition inside of them, that night. And I just think that would be
concert, fun. Right? Instead of like loading up on 6 beers after a concert, because everyone wants to kind of decompress after a concert on a weekend.
Yeah,
but
totally.
Set yourself up for like a really awesome next day. You do like wheatgrass shots, and then I don't know, sit around and
totally.
Yeah, do yoga. I don't know.
It would just, I just bring it up because it's it's the totally opposite of what people do now, which is, after a concert's over, they probably go and have 4 or 5 vodkas,
Right.
So anyway, but the bean dip though should definitely show up at this party that I'm talking about.
Oh yeah.
There should be bean dip.
So here's what it is. It's black refried beans that you can buy already made in a can.
In a can, yeah.
A BPA-free Annie's brand.
Oh,
and
Annie's is good, yeah.
Amy's, not Annie's, yeah. And then you do, so you heat that up and you put it on the bottom, and then you layer it with like salsa, guacamole, sour cream, and I chop up cilantro, and then you take chips and you dip it. So it's almost like
So that sounds like a taco layer dip. Yeah?
Yeah, that's basically what it is. Yeah.
Okay. So it's not even just bean dip, it's actually a layer dip.
Yeah, it's like a layer dip. Yeah. And so I would go, if I was vegan at the time, I would use cashew cheese instead of sour cream, but it's really good with sour cream. So
I'm sure. And do you have a cheese layer?
You could do it. We did cheese layers from time to time, but a lot of times I just skip the cheese because, it doesn't, the only hot part was the beans. So then it wouldn't really melt. So, I mean, it was a thing. You could do the cheese, but I just never did.
Interesting. Okay.
Yeah.
Good to know.
If you wanted cheese, I'd add cheese for you.
Good to know. Okay. That's good. Yum. So anyway, that was our 30-day. We're about to dive into another 30-day. I think we were still trying to figure out are we going to start it on Monday, do you think?
Yeah, let's do that. I need some
Let's
time to
start it on
figure out
Monday.
all the
Yeah.
ramifications, you
So
know?
do I. I do too. Yeah.
I
And
took
that's the
some
thing is,
notes.
yeah. And like, by the way, in between challenges, that's going to happen where if you ever decide to do a challenge, you need, um, I mean, it's hard to get through a challenge. Let's put it that way.
And it's
If you
nice to have a
really,
few days off after.
it is, it's nice to have a few days off. Although I didn't find myself getting off the routine at all that I kept. I still kept it. I just, like I haven't changed anything actually. Have you?
No. Well,
I
I
haven't
think
changed anything.
yesterday I didn't go for a run,
Okay.
but I don't want to skip any more days because I don't want to get out of shape because that would suck. You know, like now I'm
Well,
feeling
yeah,
like
of
I'm,
course. Yeah, I get
you
that.
know, but yeah, like
Um,
I'm still doing the other stuff I said I would do. So I feel like the one thing that it establishes is a habit, a new
it
habit.
does. It does. That's what I'll say too is like, I'm not going to quit the herbal tea habit anymore. Like this is actually a habit now. After 30 days, it's a habit. So
Exactly.
yeah, I mean,
That's
I'm
the best
not going
part
to
about it.
stop. Yeah, it really is. I mean, I actually am sustaining a lot of things from, I mean, actually, I'm still sustaining some things from the 100 day. I don't know about
Right.
you. There's some, it's interesting how it sort of, builds onto, like one builds onto the other.
Isn't it? It is. Yeah. I'm trying to think back to, okay, so the 100 day, I remember that I walked every day. I think
You
by seven,
meditated.
I meditated. I didn't stop doing that either. Yeah, you're right.
Yep.
I just do
Mm-hmm.
that every morning now and I get up
Yep.
early. I think when I started 100 day, that was when I first started getting up early because of the meditation.
Yep,
And
that
so
is
I
when you
still
first
get up
started.
early. Like,
Yep.
oh my God, I can't
And
believe
that
it.
seems to be your thing now. Like getting up early is now your thing.
Yeah, and every time, you know what? I still have to admit that I don't spring out of bed with like the ease of a morning chicken or something like, good morning, guys. Like I don't do that. And I thought this morning to myself, when am I going to change my mind about this? Am I going to wake up every morning and go, oh, I wish I could lay here longer?
Are
I
you
can
getting enough
just,
sleep?
yeah, I always get
Okay.
7.5 to 8, but
Okay.
I lean towards 7.5 because it's so hard for me to go to bed.
Do you wake, okay, so
Sometimes.
do you wake up with an alarm or do you just wake up yourself?
And that's the interesting thing is a lot of times I've been waking up before the alarm goes off.
Yeah, I always wake up before the alarm. I mean, every time now I wake up before the alarm
Yeah.
and sometimes an hour before the alarm.
Yeah. Do you just get up then?
Yep, I just get up. And believe me, there are times when I wake up when I'm a little bit groggy. I don't necessarily want to get up, but if I start moving, if I, start doing, to go do some dishes or something, put dishes away a lot of times because they're in the dishwasher, put
Yeah.
dishes away, things like that, then I'm okay.
One of the things on that list that I read that when I did that Google search was do X within 2 minutes of X. So like I could do be on the rebounder within 2 minutes of waking up or something like that. Like,
Wow, that would be interesting.
yeah. So I was thinking about what if I added,
That's a great idea, actually. I love that idea.
yeah. So like I was thinking the other one I tried actually not yesterday, but the day before, go for a run within and I didn't do it within 2 minutes because I had to like go to the bathroom and change clothes and stuff. But
Hmm.
within 5 minutes or 10 minutes of getting home from dropping off Violet at school, go for a run.
Hmm.
And when I did that a couple days ago, it was so
Hmm.
great because I realized I realized something. I need to do my exercise in the morning because I really resist doing it later. And if I'm only doing 20 minutes of exercise, 20, 30 minutes every
Hmm.
single day, it's not that much time commitment. So just to do it right away and get it done is
Yep.
so much better because my energy level and my attitude is so much better at that time. If I wait till 4 or 5 p.m., it's a forcing situation.
It's true.
I
I feel
feel
the same
like,
way. There's no way I could work out at 4 or 5 o'clock. I'm amazed that people can do that, but I also understand that a lot of people do that because they work a job and so they
yeah,
don't get off, right? And so and they don't want to work out in the morning. So they wait until 4 or 5. It would just drive me crazy if I had to do
yeah.
that.
I wonder what it would be like to get on the rebounder within only a few minutes of waking up. Apparently, that's supposed to be
Um,
really good for you, even if you
you
only
can
do five
try.
minutes.
Well, you can try that, but one thing is, just make sure that, there's only one thing to watch out for is make sure your blood pressure isn't too low.
Right.
Because you could end up getting dizzy, falling off the rebounder, and actually hurting yourself.
That's true.
And
Yeah.
I only say that too because I actually had a housemate who woke up one morning and she got into the shower too quickly and she actually fell and she broke her foot.
Oh my God.
Yeah. And she actually was off of work for 10 weeks.
That's not good.
Yeah. She was off of work for 10 weeks because seriously. And actually that foot, it gives her trouble to this day. So that's just what I thought of, is just make sure. And that was the cause, by the way. They couldn't find any other thing. She was feeling lightheaded, and there was just they think a low blood pressure situation because she's perfectly healthy.
Mm-hmm.
But, so she ended up, yeah. So I just wanted to warn you about that because, I love the rebounder 2 minutes after getting up idea. Just make sure you're, your
Yeah, and
blood
let's be
pressure is-
honest, like 2 minutes, that's not really enough time. Like you got to get up, you have to go to the bathroom, you
Yeah.
have to put on
Yeah.
an over
Exactly.
shoulder boulder holder.
I was going to
type
say, like,
situation.
how fast can you pee? I don't know.
Yeah.
You know?
So by the time I do all that stuff, I think my blood pressure would be to normal.
Yeah.
But
I'm thinking like maybe 10 minutes.
yeah.
You could try it. And by the way, would that make noise though? Everyone else is sleeping, no?
Yeah. Well, right now my rebounder is downstairs, but that's going to change
That's
once the
gonna
Airbnb.
change.
But I could put
Exactly.
it in our back room and no one would hear it, so it's fine.
Okay. Well, that'll work.
Yeah.
So if you're thinking about doing a 30-day challenge, let us know, especially in the Classical Cats group. You're thinking about doing one. And by the way, don't forget to incorporate multiple areas of your life. That's what we do. Because you're a human being, you're not a human doing. So it's not just about your career. There should definitely be an aspect that has to do with your career, but do something for your life too.
Yeah, I see a lot of people posting 100-day of practice on Instagram, 100 days of practice. And I sort of thought, well, don't you already practice? But, whatever.
Yeah.
I like the, the smorgasbord of challenge when you add multiple areas from your life. And
yeah, because you improve more than one thing.
Yeah, exactly.
We're not just doing career here. We're doing life.
Yeah. And how that impacts career. It's really impressive to see when you do it. Like, wow, actually working out makes me more positive about my career. So,
yeah, totally.
Yeah. And so through this challenge, somehow you and I both arrived on the conversation of purpose, like what our actual purpose is. And so I wanted to talk about that a little bit because so often I've thought, gee, what is my purpose? I mean, maybe that thought didn't come to me naturally, but if I would read an article or a book or something, I would go, purpose, huh? And it didn't sort of register to me because I always sort of felt like that word meant a thing that you were put on this planet to do, some God-given purpose that was never changes or something. And I think that term purpose has sort of evolved for me. And I'm starting to get more of a clear idea of what my purpose is. So,
well, and I think what's interesting is, if we look at and by the way, it's not unusual for people not to have a purpose. In fact, I think if you asked anybody, you asked them what their purpose was, they would look at you sideways.
yeah.
I don't think people really think about that, but so a lot of people, when you ask them the question, what's your purpose? They'll say, well, and if we would have asked you back when you were in your 20s, you would have said, to get into an orchestra.
Yeah.
That's what you would have said. Or top 5, right?
Yeah.
That's what you would have said.
Yeah.
And that's actually a goal. That's really a goal. Like that's an arrival, if you will. Like getting a job is not necessarily, a purpose is it's a living thing. It's a living thing is what I'll say about it. So, actually I was having this conversation with someone else about, Bulletproof guy, Dave Asprey, the guy who does Bulletproof Coffee. Yeah. So I use him as an example because I think it's the easiest example. So, his purpose in life is to choose when he dies. He wants to decide when he dies. So he wants to live to be 180 years old.
Wow.
Now, right? I know. That probably sounds ridiculous, but what's interesting about it, and this is what you want to understand about purpose, is that he has designed his entire life around that purpose. So to die when I want, that is his purpose. So he eats a certain way, he sleeps a certain way, he studies certain things, he speaks at certain conferences. Like his whole life is designed around that purpose. That's the difference between saying, I want to win a top 5 job, a top 5 orchestra job, and I want to decide when I die. Because because your entire life is not necessarily going to be designed around winning a top 5 job. Not necessarily. Whereas, you know what I'm saying? There's a difference between getting a job. You know, a job is a goal, certainly. But it's an interesting, I think people get purpose and goal mixed up a lot.
Yeah, definitely.
And actually, I'm going to look up the word goal right now because I want to see what the dictionary says about it.
Okay.
And I'm curious what you think about the two different words just off the top of your head. Let me look this up here. Goal. Because I would say your top 5 thing was a goal. Let's see here.
Definitely. Yeah.
It was definitely a goal. Sorry, this is a big dictionary. I didn't know that I was going to be doing this. Okay, GOAL. So funny, you have to learn the alphabet again. Here we go. Goal. The terminal point of a race, an area to be reached, the end toward which an effort is directed. So it's an end. The thing about a purpose is it's never ending.
Uh-huh.
A purpose is never ending. So, and I suppose, so if he says I want to be 180 years old when I die, that's a goal. If he says the goal is my purpose is to die when I want, that's an ongoing thing, right? Because there's no end to it.
Right.
I think that's a really interesting distinction between the two things. So you actually wrote a post about this.
Yes.
You actually wrote a post about this. And do you find yourself, now that you've identified your purpose, do you find yourself looking at that every day, or do you have that set up for yourself to remind yourself what your purpose is?
No, and you know what? I think that would be a good idea because now that I've kind of related myself to the term, I think that would be a great idea to like write it out and connect with it every day. Because I think what I came to the realization is that I want to express myself. My purpose is to express myself both in conversation and musically.
Yep.
So that's really, it feels a little bit like a mission statement would, sort of like.
Yeah, it does.
Like this is what I want to do. And then my goals come out of that statement.
Yes. Yes. And that's what's cool about it too, is because your goals can change and evolve.
Yeah.
They're like arrival points, part of a purpose.
Exactly.
They're like the arrival points of a purpose as you go.
Yeah. And so lately I've been reading some things and actually listening to some interviews with other musicians who aren't classical musicians. One was a rapper and one was a Latina singer-songwriter. And they both said similar things, which is that they are artists and that they express themselves through this particular art form, but that they're so much more than a musician. And so that really, I resonated with that because I felt like I've never considered myself an artist. I know that sounds really weird. But I never have.
I don't think it sounds weird, but I think the question is, what is an artist? So
let's look it up.
Handy dictionary. Handy dandy dictionary.
Let's look up the word artist. That's a great idea.
Okay, so let's see what it is.
I love your analog dictionary.
Right. Here we go.
I
know. Am I the last person on the planet who has a physical dictionary?
Yeah, aren't you like, God, this takes up so much space on my desk.
No, I love it. It's my favorite. I love my dictionary. Actually, I have 5 of them. I know, right? Nerd. Okay, so artist. One skilled or versed in learned arts. One who professes and practices an imaginative art, a person skilled in one of the fine arts, a skilled performer, one who is adept at something.
That's totally the definition of what I've done in my life, like someone who's skilled in an art form,
Yeah.
which is playing an instrument. But
I would have thought of artist to be honestly somebody who evolves the art form, but clearly that's not what it is. I mean, not by definition.
Right. That's you making up more to the definition.
Yep, I added to the definition. That I did.
Yeah, and maybe that's why I never felt like I was an artist, because I was making up more, that it was more than it is. You know,
because you were playing, because you were playing Dead Guys music, so you're like, I'm not an artist, I'm a musician.
Exactly. All I do is play old dead white guys music.
That's right.
And the best part is only 1/100th of it. Like, you know what I mean? Or not 100. I mean 100. There's usually not a 100-piece orchestra on stage, but you know, like you play this one part, and it's not even the most important part.
Yeah, totally. I get it. So I think you could probably call yourself an artist now.
Yes.
Yeah. And you could call everybody who's going to be in Contempo Ensemble an artist.
Yeah. You
could do that.
Contempo
Hey, by the way, while we're here, why don't you give us an update on Contempo Ensemble? I haven't seen an update on Contempo Ensemble lately.
I know. I need to update. Well, I was going to update after tomorrow, because tomorrow I'm having a meeting with 2 people.
Oh, you are? Is that coming up? Okay.
They're coming over for coffee.
Okay.
And we're going to talk about potential date and what the music can be. And I also have my Facebook page cover photo and profile photo done.
Okay.
And I actually want to ask you your opinion about that, because there might be something I want to tweak about the image. But
I'd love to see it. Actually, I love the first thing you sent to me. I thought it was great. I loved it.
Yeah, I love it. And the only thing I was thinking about changing was adding the word Raleigh to it, like to the actual image.
Yeah, you can do that.
Yeah. So totally. I told her I might want to add that. And I think I do, because that's where it is. And yeah, I'm both excited and nervous about it, but I'll feel so much better once I have a conversation with people, you know, because I keep getting inspired by this, that, and the other. And I'm making lists of all the possible things that could happen down the line. And really, I just need to create the first one first, you know?
Yeah.
And getting back in the conversation. You know how it is when the conversation starts to dwindle because it's not happening, when you're not 100%.
Actually, yeah. When you stop talking about it, it just dies. I get it. Oh my God, do I get it? I totally get it. 100%.
Yeah. I think that's why these challenges are so important for me.
Yeah, they are, because they keep you in the conversation about whatever the game is you're playing.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
I mean, honestly, I don't, like you said, I don't think I ever want to be outside of a challenge again. I mean, it's really changed my life to do this kind of work. And it's more fun to do it with somebody too, I think. Like I'm always glad that you're doing it with me, or that I know that you're over there doing it. You know, it just makes it better for me for some reason, you know?
I know. It really helps to have a friend who's hungry, you know?
Yeah, it really does. And the other thing is, if you guys, listeners, if you guys are, wanting somebody to do a challenge with you, feel free to do one with us. Like we're starting a challenge on Monday, but if you want to start yours on, I don't know, Wednesday, you can let us know about it. Like we'll check in with you and do what we do. I mean, that's what we're doing all the time Tracy and I all the time are like, hey, how's your thing going? Or how's this going? Or we're always checking in with each other during the challenge to see, and we'll say, I'm like, this is not going well, and this is why, and we'll try and figure out how to solve the problems that come up along the way.
Yeah. You know? And we celebrate our wins together, which is really important.
Yeah, we do. There's lots of wins, actually. We actually have quite a few wins.
Yeah. Yeah. So if you wanted to do that with us, we could talk about it in Classical Cats, or you could even start like just a Facebook message thread with us. I mean, we did that with a friend who was playing a game, you know, and she would just reach out, and we'd have like a thread going for a little while. And
that's right. Yeah. Yep. Totally. Actually, I got to check in with her.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, I got to check in with her and see how she's doing.
I
Because we
know.
haven't heard from her in a while. She must have gotten really busy, but
Yeah.
anyway, so anyway, that's just think about, purpose was a really big, that turned out to, that was the biggest thing for me that came out of the 30 day, by the way. It's funny
Yeah.
that you brought that up. That's actually what came out of it for me was I got very clear on my purpose, and funny enough, so did you.
I know. And it was like at the same time. So this is what keeps happening during our challenges is we get
And we didn't talk
synchronized.
about it. We
I
didn't talk
know.
about it either. It just happened. It
Yeah.
happened.
And we'll have like themes of the
Mm-hmm.
week or of the
Yep.
day where we'll
Yep.
both see like similar posts and not even from the
Mm-hmm.
same people, but the same topic. It's very strange,
Yep.
but it's really
Yep.
synchronistic and cool. So tell
It's
me about your,
slightly
it's
creepy.
really creepy. It
Slightly
is.
creepy.
So
Yeah.
tell me about your purpose because you really discovered something big.
Yeah, I did. So I, for a really long time, I'll just give a slight preamble. So, for a really long time, I was teaching people about, topics having to do with making money online, making money in sales, like selling, making money through marketing, things like that. Like money has been the theme for me for forever. That's what I've really focused on. And it's not, I mean, that ended actually years ago. And I didn't identify that. I didn't see that theme was no longer me at all, at all. And I would say probably in 2014 is when it started. So like 3 years ago. And so my purpose I want my whole life is about that every human being becomes cause in their own life, cause over their own life. So everything that happens, everything that doesn't happen, everything they want, that's what I'm talking cause over their health, cause over really it's cause over what I call the big five, which is money, love, career, health, and time. All five. They're cause over all five of those areas of their
So
life.
in essence, using the word cause like that, you mean like you are causing all the things.
Yes, you're causing all of it. You're causing every area of your life. There's nothing outside of you causing it. You are actually causing it. So if it happened, you did it. If it didn't happen, you did it. If you wanted it, you did it. If you didn't want it, you still did it. Because that's the only place that you can have any power over your life. If everything is done to you, if it's because of someone else, if it's because of a circumstance, if it's because of something else, then you actually can't fix it.
Right.
If you know that you caused it, you can uncause it, if you will.
Mm-hmm.
If you want to cause it, you can cause it. And it's interesting because I'm taking this on also in my own life. I can see areas where I have and areas where I haven't. And so, even though there are some areas where I know I'm caused, and there's other areas where I'm like I've got work to do. But what I love about this purpose is that it's ongoing. You are never going to be perfect cause in your life in every area. So there's always an area to work on.
Right.
That's what I love about it. There's no arrival. That's what I love about it. And of course, that probably kills you because you're like, but Eileen, when will you be done? Because I know how you used to be about that. But
Yeah.
that's what I love. I actually love this because there is no done. There is no done.
I know. And I think that's that's why I didn't understand purpose before because there is no done with a purpose, right?
Yep.
Done is when
Yep.
you're dead.
That's right. Done is when you're dead.
So like I always lived my life like to the point to thinking of when you'll be done. Like and I think always the audition, once you win it, you're done, which is stupid because then after the audition you start a job and then that's what you're doing. That's why you auditioned. But it's so much about the audition that you feel like, oh, if I can only win a job, I'll be done with this
Yep.
hard thing.
Yeah.
Or whatever, And so, so when I saw what my purpose could be, cause, and a lot of it came out of deciding to do Contempo.
Mm-hmm.
Just deciding.
Yeah, I can see that.
And I remember it was I don't remember how many days ago. It was probably like a week or two ago. where you said you haven't decided that you're doing it.
Yeah.
And just you saying that made me realize it. Cause I had like had this like future idea. I was doing the same thing I was doing with the podcast initially. Like, oh, I'll do a podcast someday. Totally. I don't know when. Yeah. First, I'm going to learn how. First, I'm going to study how to interview people and all that stuff, you know? And then no, you decide if you're going to do it or not. And then you just do it. And you were like, there's nothing wrong with deciding not to. If that's what you're deciding, just decide.
Yeah, no problem. Yeah.
Yeah. And so when you said that, I was like I did that thing that we talked about on a Fireside chat ago a couple of them ago, where I was like, what if I decide that I'm not doing that right now? What if I just decide I'm not? How do I feel in my body? And I did not want to not do it. Like, I really felt like I had a purpose in doing this. I finally felt like, wow, this is
it's part of your purpose is what it is.
So
you know
that's,
what I mean? It's actually part of your purpose. Yeah. So it didn't feel right to you not to do it.
Because during this 30-day challenge, I have to add that at one point you said, and I think it was not too deep into the 30-day challenge. You said, I know you still want to play. And what are your plans for that?
Yep.
And that's when I was like, gee, I know I want to play and I don't have plans for that. And if I'm going to play, I better make a plan for that or it's not going to happen. And it's just going to fall to the wayside. And I didn't want that. So I feel so much better about that I decided, because I really thought it felt the same way as at a certain point, like a long time ago, where I thought, what if I stopped crushing classical? It felt the same way, like that I was some guts were getting taken out of my body. Like I felt like it was
they were removing vital organs.
Yeah, like I felt like there's no way I can't do this. There's no way I can't do contempo. And like for me, contempo feels really scary. I don't know how anything yet.
Well, that's why, when you meet with them on the weekend, a lot of questions are going to be answered for you.
Yeah. Yeah. And it's so hard because we always want to, at least I do, I always want to have a list of how it's going to go before I do it. And that's not possible.
Yep. Everybody wants that. That's actually what stops everybody from doing things. I get it.
And if someone said, oh, this is how I did mine, and here's a list on how to do it, it wouldn't be right because that's how they did their thing, Yeah.
I mean, that is the issue is you can't, you can take a page out of someone's playbook, but it's not necessarily going to look like yours.
Right. Right.
So good. Well, I can't wait to hear how this meeting turns out. That'll be great.
Yeah. I'm excited.
Good.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Well, good. So listen, join our 7-day challenge, you guys.
Yes.
Please, 7-day starting line challenge starts on November 6th. We're going to include a link, with this Fireside so that you can join the group. And yep. And,
it'll be in the show notes.
That's right. It'll be in the show notes. And so join us. Again, clear your calendar. It's on November 6th. You got 2 weeks to clear your calendar and be there live. That's why we're giving you 2 weeks notice. We didn't give you very much notice last time. We gave you 5 days. Now we're giving you 2 weeks. So clear your calendar and join us. And this is going to be an exploration for you to see, possibly for you to see what your plan A is if you don't know what it is, but also what's in the way. Why are you not pursuing plan A? It's not what you think.
It's not what you
think. It's a lot of things. It's not what you think. The biggest surprise will come to you from the 7-day starting line challenge that what you think is in your way is actually not in your way. It's something else.
Exactly. And keep in mind, of course, we do want you to be live, but if you have work or rehearsal or something at 10 o'clock, you can always watch it later. We'll save it in the group. Yeah,
you can do that. Yep. The recordings are loaded into the group, so you can be a part of that.
Yeah.
So that sounds good. So we will, hopefully see you in the 7-day challenge starting line group.
Definitely. All right. Well, thanks again. Thanks, Eileen, for joining me today, and we'll see you next time.
Have a great day.
You too. Bye.
Bye.
Thank you for listening today. Hey, listen, I have a huge favor to ask you, and it will only take a few seconds. If you like this show, one way that you can let us know is by writing a review on iTunes and subscribing to the podcast. Writing a review will help other people to find the podcast and help us immensely. It will only take a few minutes. Just head over to iTunes and search for Crushing Classical. There, you can write a review and click subscribe. Thanks again.